Macabre Cast.
Devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy.
Wait a minute. Strike that, Gooby. Reverse it. Because you know as well as I do what this means. It's time for another episode of Macabre Cast.
Doc Mark and Chorus, the little mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't. Okay, let's get this party started. Hey, Chorus, I noticed that Grimm never responded to that question I had about how if she ever revisited Chainsaw Massacre. Remember? And I had said that I bet she has not, and probably has never even got to the famous dinner scene yet. Probably has never got past Franklin going pee-pee in a cup.
Obviously, she's avoiding the question. She hasn't revisited Chainsaw Massacre.
She can do this. I know she can. Big girls don't cry. She's probably just wrapped up in all these Christmas movies. And as far as the film is being revisited, or even visited for the first time, way back, I think, when I first started talking with Scary Larry on Facebook, during one of his 100-movie marathons, he had confided in me that he had never seen Burnt Offerings and was going to make major efforts to see it based on how much I cheerlead for that movie. I don't remember Scary Larry ever telling me that he saw it or not and what he thought, unless he's hesitant because maybe he didn't like it. I don't know. Would like to know, Scary Larry, what you thought of Burnt Offerings. And if you don't remember it, watch it again. So all we ever heard about forever was this remake of Salem's Lot. And it just up and disappeared. Never came out. It was all over the internet. Where did this movie go? They were actually scoping out a church in Groton. This old stone church would have been really great, but I don't think the pastor was keen on them filming a vampire movie in his church. But that being said, we know where the movie is now. It is headed to HBO Max, just bypassing the theaters. I hope that's not for a bad reason, but I'm curious to see this as much as I love the original. Looking forward to it very much. HBO Max, the new Salem's Lot. Nosferatu! And Saw 11, slated for 2024. I don't think I ever got beyond part 4. It seemed very repetitive, and this is funny coming from me because you know how much I love these slasher, gory franchises. But yeah, I never got past 4. Should I invest my time in anything after 4?
This very much sounds like a you problem. Obviously, these movies are popular. They made 11 of them.
Christmas is on a Monday this year, Karis. Do I dare release a Macabre Cast big Christmas show the night before on Christmas Eve? Please stop laughing. More people listened to the ad for the big Halloween show than actually listened to it.
Well, apparently it wasn't Wolfman Dance Good.
Also in 2024, Smile Part 2, which I think we all saw that coming. That movie was very successful, and it was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. It was good. Better than I thought it would be. And there's a Christmas movie coming out, or it's called A Creature Was Stirring, not to be confused with And the Creatures Were Stirring that I had mentioned before. I guess this is brand new and stars who I thought did the worst version of Laurie Strode ever, Scout Taylor Compton, I believe is her name.
Oh, well, that's a wonderful attitude to have on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas.
So we'll have to see what that's all about. But right now, without further ado, It's time for Grim Facts.
Hi, Mark. The movie that I'm wondering if you've ever seen before is 2008's The Children from the UK. It's so good. Everyone's together for their Christmas family fun, and things take a turn. I highly enjoyed it. No, I don't remember the ending. I watched it a couple years ago, but I do remember thinking, I love this movie. I've never seen it before. This is great. Like anything with sinister children, I'm all for. So I've already said that before. Mark, I've been thinking of you because I've been in Newbury Comics a few times lately, and they have Trivial Pursuit Horror Edition, and it looks so fun. And I wish I had someone to play with. I didn't get it because it's just going to make me want to have someone to play it with, and I'm not sure if my son will go for that, although he is a horror fan like me. I guess that's it, and I'm enjoying hearing everybody's audio clips, including Tina. Thank you for the shout out. And Larry's reviews. And as always, I am enjoying Macabre Cast. Thanks.
As always, thank you for the call, Grim Kim. And Grim, you buy that game, because of course you have people to play that with. Me, Scary Larry, Tina from Chicago. Maybe this will pull Anaphylactic in to do other than just send a picture, and she'll leave a message with her answer to the trivia. You can be like the Dungeon Master, and every week at the end of your call, or not every week, but when you call, at the end, you give a trivia question. And I have this game, and trust me, it is awesome. But there's thousands of questions. Not even I have heard them all. Buy that game, Grim.
Oh, don't worry about the little mummy. He probably doesn't want to play it. Scary Larry, Tina from Chicago, never mentions Karis. Maybe I'd like to play. Maybe I know some of those answers.
Of course you can play Karis. I'm sorry I didn't mention your name. And Horror Chat Matt. Horror Chat Matt's out there. I know he'd love to play. He probably has the game like myself, but I'm sure he hasn't heard all the questions. Also, Grim, I have not seen that movie you mentioned, The Children, but I do see that it's on Prime for free with ads. But I will have to check that out. Thank you for the suggestion. Always looking for those Christmas horror movie suggestions that I have not seen.
And speaking of Horror Chat Matt, he's on the line.
Hey Doc Mark, just wondering what your take was on owning physical media over streaming. As somebody who basically has every streaming service under the sun since we cut the cord years ago, in an effort to save money, boy was that a joke, I have to say I prefer physical media. There's nothing better than having the reliability of knowing if I want to watch a movie that I own, all I have to do is walk over to the shelf, take it off, open the case, pop it in the player, sit down and press play, and I can enjoy my movie. On the flip side, it is great to have access to thousands upon thousands of titles. But most of these apps are very difficult to find something new if you're not sure what you're in the mood for. And more often than not, I find that once we do pick out a movie and search it up, you end up having to rent it anyways because it's not available on any of the multiple services you already own. It gets a little annoying. I do love the Shudder app and spent an awful lot of time on there. But again, for me, there's nothing better than having that case in your hand and knowing if you want to watch it, you can watch it whenever you want, and you don't have to worry about rights fees and everything else. Of course, over the years, I've spent a small fortune on my movie collection. Started off with VHSs and then to DVD. Thankfully, I did skip over the Laserdisc craze. And then now Blu-rays and 4Ks. I have to say, it just takes me back to the days of going up to a video store, Blockbuster, or even better, a mom and pop store, and walking the aisles and finding that perfect horror movie off of the case alone. I would love to see Shudder change their search menu to look like an old VHS cover where you are virtually walking through a mom and pop video store and selecting your movies off of VHS covers. I think that would be a great feature. Anyways, Dark Mark, just curious where you land on this. And as always, keep up the great work. And remember, be kind and rewind.
No, unfortunately, there's no cutting the cord over this way. Personally, all I watch television-wise is mostly streaming apps anyway, with the exception of the channel that shows Forensic Files. But it's Shudder, Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus. All that. I don't really put regular television on. Always been a physical media guy. Spent stupid money my whole life on movies, and mostly horror movies. Love and seriously miss the mom and pop video stores who used to get the better horror movies anyway. We used to get, every couple of weeks, a bunch of us would always get Faces of Death 1 and 2. And it was always the challenge who could stay in the room the longest. And I'm sorry, every time we get to the monkey brains, I was out, had to leave. Not watching people eat monkey brains. I think your Shudder idea is awesome. I would love to see that. It would be cool. Nothing beats, what we all grew up with and went through in the real deal, but I don't know that that's ever coming back. But yeah, definitely physical media for me all day long. I like the eye candy. I like all the extras. Big Blu-ray guy, and probably still have a VHS or two kicking around of stuff that's never been released on DVD. But as always, thank you so much, Matt, for the call. So the funny thing, Karis, is last week I put out there, I'm hoping that people can suggest Christmas horror movies that I haven't seen. And thank you again, Grim Kim, for doing that. But I'm actually really surprised that Scary Larry didn't call in with suggestions.
Dark, never underestimate the horror movie marathon man, Scary Larry. He's on the line.
Is this something you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
Greetings, Dark Mark and Karis, the Little Mummy. You asked a question. Do you have a Christmas movie you think I haven't seen to recommend I watch? Well, I'm going to recommend a new one to watch and a recent one to avoid like the plague. First up, There's Something in the Barn. Just released for rent, 2023's horror comedy follows a family from America to Norway after the dad inherits his distant family's property, which includes an old barn. Well, the barn is inhabited by a barn elf, which according to local folklore is friendly to friendly people and will help tend the farm, but if you anger it, all hell breaks loose. The young son befriends it and later learns from a local what the 3 rules you must follow to appease the elf are. Well, his family manages to break every rule, and not only does this anger the elf, but all his elfin friends as well. The movie starts slow, but picks up steam and hilarity about an hour in. Think Gremlins meets Krampus. I'll give this 3 stars and a watch it recommendation. Now on my naughty list is 2016's Red Christmas. I watched it because Dee Wallace is a star and she has had her share of holiday horror hits. Well, I was wrong on this. So dang wrong. The premise is Dee Wallace's character had an abortion 20 years prior to the movie plotline, and apparently it managed to survive. They named it, get this, Cletus the fetus, and it arrives at her door looking like you'd think an aborted baby who survived would.
Ew, seriously? That is so gross.
And he wants to reconnect with his mom. I don't need to go into much more detail, it's really not discussing it, Other than the baby's birthday is on Christmas Eve, so it's technically a Christmas horror movie. I give it half a star. Well, that's my report. You guys have a good week.
Wow. Thank you, Larry. I will be checking out that Something in the Barn, hopefully soon. As far as Red Christmas, seen it, 2016. I actually did a review, which I'll post in the comments section from the Facebook link to YouTube. I gave it 1.5 stars. And not only did Dee Wallace star in this abomination, she produced this pip.
Oh my gosh. Does that suck?
And how about those effects? We're Ferrato, Tom Savini. But as always, thank you, Scary Larry.
This is Dark Mark, signing off. See you soon.